Hello, YouTube, and welcome to our next vlog. What is going on, everybody? It is a beautiful cloudy day. Partly cloudy, mostly cloudy. I don't know, what would the weather call this? I think it's mostly cloudy. I don't think you can really properly see the sky with the camera. I would definitely say mostly cloudy. Mostly cloudy skies? Yeah, I ain't no meteorologist, but that's what I would say. You probably hear my daughter in the background. She is up there, riding along in her stroller. We are out for a family stroll because it's nice out today, and I was like, let's do it. We're gonna have a nice walk and vlog at the same time. But either way, as she keeps saying ow for some reason, I don't know why she's saying ow, but I have to help her. I'll help her, and we'll show that on camera. But either way, for this vlog, I'm just going to be doing a dive into my personal story from kind of when I grew up to now, how I got into YouTube, all that beautiful stuff. And like I said, we might have the other co-hosts do this as well, but for sure you'll get my side of the story of me growing up, some mistakes that I made, and other different facts about me that maybe some of you maybe have questions about. So I figured that way I can give you all the details that you need to know, and we can just keep moving forward. But hopefully the background noises don't interfere too much here, but if it does, oh well. You can hear some nice birds and people talking as we're going around downtown in my hometown here. My new hometown. Obviously we used to live in another place, but we recently moved. But let's dive right into it, starting from when I was born. I was born on a late October day, nearing Halloween. Actually, I was born late. I was due on October 15th, 16th. I don't know. I know it's for sure my mom's birthday, which is October 15th, was I think my original due date, but I ended up being a week late and coming out on October 22nd. When I was born, the umbilical cord was actually wrapped around my neck, so it kind of choked me a bit, so I was taken to the intensive care unit. And because of said events, I struggled with asthma early on in my life and a lot of other different problems. I was in the NICU for a good while before being home. Obviously, this is all details I got from my parents. Obviously, none of this do I remember as being a little kid, other than having the breathing issues. I knew I still have asthma and stuff, which we'll talk about that as we go on here. But sorry for the pause there. I had to kind of like swallow a bit. I guess it's wise to breathe. It is always wise to breathe. But yes, no. I had asthma growing up. I had some breathing problems, ear infections growing up. I had to be either hospitalized or have treatment for a while. I also had one of those like breathing masks when I was younger to help me breathe. A lot of different stuff when I was growing up, some different complications that kind of only minorly affected me, I would say. And then as I got older, my allergies started flaring. So I had to get allergy shots actually quite a bit. I used to have to go, I think at least once a week, if not twice a week, to get a allergy shot to prevent myself from getting way too congested to not be able to breathe well because of my allergies. I am allergic to yeast, mold, and cottonwood trees. Those are my three allergies. Although yeast I haven't had a big reaction to, because you can say like, well, isn't yeast in that like bread, pizza, blah, 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 you know. There's apparently some specific type of yeast that I'm allergic to. Mold, obviously I'm not around a lot of moldy products, and I've smelt different bad foods and I've had no allergic reactions. But cottonwood trees, 1000% allergic to. Those little like white bushels that you'll see flying around in the air, those make me sneeze for sure. Definitely high allergies to those. I do get bad allergy seasons, definitely late fall, usually range, and usually just prevents my breathing. I'm down to kind of just like really rough on breathing, and usually hurts my throat. And that's usually what happens to me with my sinuses when I get my sinus infections due to the weather and other factors. But to not talk too much grossness, growing up when I was younger, I had and I still to this day have a very vast imagination. I was able to create my own little world. I was able to have everything kind of made for me thanks to either things that I saw on television or just my own imagination. So, because at the time I was kind of an introvert, and I still am to this day. I don't know why I'm saying at the time when I'm still this way, but definitely was more so an introvert. Growing up, I did not like sharing my toys. I did not like talking to people much. I just kind of did my own thing, loved living in my own little world and doing my own little things. Really, the only friends I had were my neighbors and a few, like, more of the introverted type friends that I met at school when I was in elementary school. So my little imagination world that I created was all like, I was a superhero that had the ability to either turn on or off my superpowers. Basically, I had all the superhero powers that you could pretty much think of. I was basically trying to make myself this ultimate hero that would travel through different universes. This story expanded as it went on, and I'll explain that here in a second. So the initial story was that I got hit with a bolt of lightning, which separated my good and evil side. My evil side, with his powers, ended up destroying my father and killing a bunch of people, and then going into different multiverses at the time. Power Rangers, Dragon Ball Z, and Star Wars, I think, were the ones that were like, remember early on, just kind of like, oh, that's where I want him to invade and I have to go save them as a little kid. I just remember those. Obviously, my dad didn't die, and anything like that really happened. I just figured that was the most drastic character I could kind of create. That at the time, I was just like, I didn't like. Me and my dad were close and stuff, but we were like not super close. I was more close with my mom growing up, but whatever, we won't dive too much into that. We can talk more about that as we go on. But yeah, no, so I was a superhero, but obviously this whole event happened before my eyes as a child, and I was like, what the heck's going on? So it transported me to this other world in space where I met this other hero who I believed I called Master Koronoski, and his son Zero Kwadakowski. Those were his kids, I guess, that would train me and teach me what was going on and what I needed to do to save the world from my evil self. I think a lot of my influences were from either SpongeBob, Dragon Ball Z, at the time, Power Rangers, I don't know what else, but those were the main influences I can remember as a kid. Trying to use what I considered either a magic belt that had like either swords or Pokeballs if I was in the Pokemon universe, different stuff like that, that I could use to my arsenal to defeat my evil self, to leading up to our first matchup after being able to tap into my superhuman abilities, which were mostly like super strength, flight, whatever, you know, your typical kind of like Superman powers, I guess, with a few unique things. I added an X beam where if I put my arms in an X, I did an X-shaped beam, kind of similar to Tien's Tri-Beam. And then Speeding Bullet, which was a supersonic, like speedy, straightforward attack, kind of maybe looked like Sonic the Hedgehog's dash attack. I don't know, I'm trying my best to explain this. And either Sonic Boom or Krakatoga, depending on when you ask me when you asked me in my timeline. But the original move was called Sonic Boom. I would clap my hands together and it would cause a sonic force to push someone back. Those were my unique powers that I felt like I came up with. So as time went on, Kingdom Hearts started coming out, Dragon Ball Z was in the Buu Saga, all this other stuff. I created the multi-universe theory, so where I was going through different universes thanks to Kingdom Hearts inspiration. I would go to like Star Wars, Dragon Ball Z, have to fight different villains from those universes, and then alongside with my evil self. I made a big old story that my father was actually like the leader of this evil organization, that, you know, my son from the future came back in time to try to stop all this from happening, but it ended up failing, so I got to meet my future son, which I don't have a son at all. I have a daughter, obviously, as many of you might know. What else did I come up with? I don't know. I have it all like written down because I was like, it came up with a bunch of stuff where I would go through different universes. Basically, it all ends to two factors. Me and my bad self end up fighting one final time with all the help of all the heroes and bad guys in our power arsenal to create a kind of, I called it, because like obviously back in the day it was like Super Saiyan, so like I had obviously like Super Saiyan 5, but then I created like, oh, I'll be like a deity in a sense, to where I team up with good figures to help me beat my evil self, and he combines with like the devil and all these evil figures from different universes, and ended up beating him by this little whim of luck using a Destructo Disc combined with a new power I created called Splitter, which would split somebody in half. I combined those two moves together called the Splitting Disc, and that's what ended up killing my other half as he was trying to destroy me with a spirit bomb. That's what I remember. creating. And then the other major event was called the War of 666, which took place with me being on the good side, and then I made Luke Skywalker because he was my favorite Star Wars character on the evil side, calling him the betrayer. He did not want to betray the good, but he had to because it was like foretold in his destiny that he had to bring balance. But my foretold destiny was that I would bring peace to the entire universe, so our destinies conflicted too much. So it was like, okay, they had to pit us against each other. He was told to fight me, and so he had to, so we fought it out, and then it all ends by a trick, whatever, that I end up killing him. I put a lot of different, like, if you want to go really in depth, I made multiple universes out of this, like one where he wins, one where I win, and it ultimately all came together to this final fight of, this is going to be the true determination of who would win, you know, with my evil self. I made my future self come back in time, the one that like lost his son or whatever, my son, go have to battle us and different stuff. And I added some new details as new stuff came out. So like as the new Dragon Ball Z with the Tournament of Power and all that, I made like those different universes having to fight. And I was like, okay, I'll add on to this story, but I never really done anything with it. If you want a whole in-depth thing, like truly hardcore, probably over hours long of detail on this story, just let me know in the comments and I will do it for you. But that's where I really want to stop talking with this, because otherwise I'm just going to keep talking, because I really did like that whole imagination world that I did create. But I did have a vivid imagination and I could still tap into it to this day. But a lot of my interest early on was that. I love making music. I love writing down songs. I have right now in my arsenal, I think 170 something songs that I've written, but I've done nothing with. But that's another thing that I've never done. I like my music. I like my trying to sing, I guess. But kind of at the same point, I've always been more on the embarrassed side, that I'm just going to sound terrible when I do stuff. Maybe I'm just more as the writer instead of the singer. And I don't know, maybe even my writing's terrible. I don't know. I just would always doubt myself, so I never did anything about it. And then the only other things I did younger was either put myself in these cool situations where I would either be like a star athlete, either in football or something like that. And I would do things like that and win the Super Bowl or different things along that line. So yeah, that's a lot of what I did when I was younger, up till probably middle school range, when I started getting more closer with different friends. Really, I didn't start branching out until high school, but all high school, I was basically my own universe, doing my own things, playing different video games. My early video games are Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, Smash Brothers, Pokemon Puzzle League, definitely. Star Wars Battlefront 2 for the PlayStation 2 was probably my most played game at the time. I don't know, there was a lot of early on games that I played, Mario, different stuff that I just dived into and really enjoyed playing. That we could dive into more on a different video, but never played like the Mario 64, although I had a Nintendo 64 and owned Super Mario 64. I could never figure out the controls, just like the original Super Smash Brothers for the 64. I couldn't figure out, so I didn't really truly play Smash Brothers until Melee, although I had the game earlier. But my thing was, if I couldn't figure it out within a couple minutes, I usually gave up, which was a bad thing. So a lot of my early games were Pokemon, the easy. I'm surprised I even got into Kingdom Hearts with how much that one kind of, you had a whole different buttons and whatever, but usually if I had a few button clicks, I was doing good. Or if it was too challenging, like the early Marios, like the original Super Mario Bros. 1 through 3, all the way to Super Mario World, I would usually die around World 2 or 3 and just give up. So I'd be like, oh, I just can't get past this board, it's terrible, I'm never going to get better, and just give up. So I lost out on a lot of good games early on, so that's why I'm trying to play them now, because I want to see those experiences. But yeah, entering high school, I actually sought out therapy for my introvertedness. Mostly probably more stem from my parents, but also it was something I was interested in myself, because I wouldn't talk a lot. I would not branch out with a lot of friends. I would just go in my own little, like I said, my own little world, watch my own shows, do my own thing, and they just wanted to make sure everything was okay, being my parents and everything, so I thank them for it in the long run. But they sent me to therapy, which I got help with my introvertedness, how to branch out and whatever. My main worries were, like, say someone was talking about a popular mainstream thing, I usually wouldn't know about it because I wouldn't watch a lot of the news or go to the movies or different things. So I always felt like, not like necessarily unpopular, but just out of the loop on a lot of things. So I just act like I was there, not alone, act like I knew what they were talking about, or end up looking silly. And I mean, a lot through middle school to high school, I was bullied. I had my backpack taken away. Different people that would either not really necessarily like hit me, but like would take off my hat and throw it, be like, here's, because when I go all the way up till sophomore year of high school, I was about 4'11", 80 pounds. So I was a short kid, and people were taller than me, weighed more than me, stronger than me in every single aspect. So I would let them just kind of do their thing because I couldn't do much anyway, and I just would, bottle it up. It's whatever. It's their own thing. Did it bug me a bit? Yes, but it didn't really like get to me fully, other than just making me still not want to branch out with new people. So, like I said, although I was bullied, had people take stuff from me, all that, I did have one teacher that finally stood up and was able to stop that bullying and all that. But then sophomore year, I went from 4'11", 80 pounds to, I think it was like 5'5" and 120 my sophomore year. I played football my freshman year of football. That was my first time ever playing football. I played basketball for 7 years of my life, from pretty much kindergarten to 7th grade. I played basketball. I stopped playing it because once it got into plays and different stuff, it confused me way too much, and I was kind of dying off the sport, and I was really only good at anything beyond the free throw line. So 3-pointers, half-court shots, call me up, but otherwise I'm out. I'm going to suck and whatever. And obviously I was short, so I stopped. And then when I became a freshman, I thought I wanted to play football. I wanted something to do with the football life. I loved the sport. It was one of my all-time favorite sports. Joined the football team as a wide receiver. They played me as wide receiver and cornerback, mostly because they thought this is personally from the coach himself, I was an inspiration to those around me because I was so short. Look at me trying out for the football team at 4'11" and 80 pounds, trying to make it and trying to be a part of this team, as I was a motivational figure, not a thing about trying to actually make me a part of the team. But I also was kind of bad because I didn't try to memorize the plays and stuff like that. So I was also hurting myself because I was just more so just enjoying the sport. Sophomore year, like I said, I had the growth spurt, played football again. It helped having a little bit extra height, but people were still technically taller than me, being only 5'5". At 120, people were still mostly bigger than me. Being my first time ever working out, doing anything like that, a sports program like this, I was behind on those that had played since Bantam and early on years that it just wasn't working out. But I did play through my sophomore year, but junior year came around and I started thinking maybe football wasn't the right life for me. I did debate to play, which is the whole story about that, but in the ultimate long run, after talking to my cousin and some different incidences that happened, I ultimately decided not to play football. I really wanted to because like my parents did buy the equipment and all that, and I was like, I don't want to waste their money. So I would, had the means to want to do football, but they were saying if that's not where my heart is, and if I'm not going to put 100%, I'm just going to be there and whatever, it was just not right. So ultimately chose to be a kind of like an assistant coach. They considered it a student manager because that was the position they had to call it. But I would hang in the coach's office with our head coach and the offensive coordinator. Jesus, Train, I'm trying to do a vlog, man. I'm trying to do a vlog. Trains just don't care. I mean, it could be worse. It could be an airplane. Okay, good. I was hoping there wasn't an airplane. Anyway, I can power through trains. You bring it on, Train. I got a loud voice. I'm having fun. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, so as a manager or whatever you want to call it, I was spending time in the coach's office with the offensive coordinator and our head football coach a lot, talking with him, discussing what we were going to do the week ahead. I would help do the playbooks and whatever. I didn't do any of the filming and stuff like that then. I was just mostly help bring out the equipment for the players, help prepare the field and stuff like that. Whatever he deemed important to do, I would go and do it for him. And then, so I did that my junior and senior year. Junior year, actually, we won the state championship for my football team. At the point coming back from the biggest high school comeback in history, with we were down with 6 minutes left. We were down 22 points with 6 minutes left in the game, and we came back to win that game. So it was one of the craziest comebacks in high school history, which I think has been topped by this point. I'm not sure. I haven't actually looked it up. But I know at the point that amount of deficit in that short of time was the biggest ever to be overcome by a team. And we got our football rings and all that type of stuff, which I still have to this day. I've not worn it on the channel at all, but it's a pretty big ring. It's up there with Super Bowl size rings, and I've seen those, so I know. I got to meet a couple Super Bowl winners through my time. And because in 2008, I think it was 2008, wasn't it? Whenever the Super Bowl came to Indianapolis, I got to meet Heath Evans, who played for the Saints when they won the Super Bowl. And we got to swap rings for a couple minutes. So he wore my state championship ring while I wore his Super Bowl ring. And they were pretty comparable in size. Super Bowl rings are still way bigger, but they're pretty close. Anyway, diving back into this. Senior year, again, I did debate to play football again. But at that point, I was 6'1" and about 140. But I was just nowhere near physically probably going to be able to do it. So again, I just chose the assistant life. But they made the rule to where, because of an incident that happened, I guess, near the town that we could no longer be in with the coaches and everything like that. So we were told we would have to have our own little area. So we always just hung outside and talked with either athletic trainers or the different people outside in the field facilities. So I got to meet a lot of cool people through that, but nothing major really happened that year, my senior year. It was sad, obviously, to leave the football field and then leave my senior year. High school did treat me well. Like I said, after the therapy, I did branch out, meet a lot more people. I became known to many as Tubby, and there's a reason behind that. No, it's not because I was ever fat or anything like that. No, I was called Tubby because I had hot tub parties at my house my junior year. I started inviting people over and having hot tub parties, and these parties, just let's just say they got a little out of hand at times. We weren't probably doing the most legal of stuff. Please don't obey all laws. Please know that. And be safe with everything. But, being a teenager, high school, whatever. I was stupid, but, it's okay. Nothing bad ever happened that I know of. But yeah, no. I was called Tubby because I had a hot tub and a big pool and ping pong tables, pool tables, dart boards. So I was basically almost like a bachelor pad of a house that people love to come to and party at. So that's what they nicknamed me, based on, I guess, ironicness and just what they deemed as my nickname. We all had nicknames in my main core group of friends, but that was mine. I wanted to be called Jet, because if they were going to call me Tubby, at least call me something else, because I'm not fat. So I wanted to be called Jet, but they like Tubby. It stuck too well, and eventually I grew to love it. So I was called Tubby for about 3 years, pretty much, till pretty much my junior year of college. Many of you know, my college I went down to is in Terre Haute. I'm originally from the Center Grove area. Like I said, I went to Center Grove High School, is where my high school is. That's where I went to school. I went to elementary school in Center Grove and one other school as well, Pleasant Grove. And then went to college down in Terre Haute at Indiana State and Ivy Tech. Got a education degree, communications minor, did some things along the lines of coaching. I still to this day not 100% sure what I want to do, I guess, with my life, but there's a lot of different passions. I still love communications, hence why I'm doing different things with YouTube, or so like the sports broadcasting life, like I talked about in my last vlog. Though the sucky thing about sports broadcasting is each year it wipes out whatever you talked about the previous year, so it just becomes obsolete, and it's kind of sad to see projects that you put a lot of time to become no matter. So that's why I chose the gamer life on YouTube, but that's something we'll dive into here in a little bit. But yeah, so college life is when I truly got back into YouTube. My first YouTube journey was probably around the age of 7, 8, maybe. I don't know, maybe even older. I don't know. Hang on, my brother's 3 years younger than me, so maybe I was like 9 to 11 then, maybe my first YouTube journey, when we made the Flaming Penguin films with me, my brother, and my cousin. So what was that been? I don't even know. I was maybe tops 10. I'm 27 now, right? Yeah, I have to do math. Oh, don't judge me. So, talking 17 years ago, 2002 era YouTube life. Like I said, I remember the YouTubers I remember were like Fred and Smosh and them battling out who was going to be the top YouTuber and different videos that many people I pointed out in our last vlog, which we won't dive too much into. But did Flaming Penguin Films for about a year, did Viva City Films for about a year, and that's really about it. Nothing really much in the YouTube life. What I would mostly do was play video games at home. Like I said, either the Smash Brothers or Battlefront or whatever I liked. Honestly, I would say I was more I don't know, walking around listening to music than playing video games at that time. Really, I didn't play video games hardcore again till late college, to be honest. I would either just kind of go in my own world. I was dating different people at different times. Different relationships would take the toll on stuff that different girls would treat me in different ways. Not really any necessarily were ultra bad, but each one either ended in a cheating or I don't even know, abusiveness, or not letting me be myself until I met my wife that I'm with currently, that let me see my gaming side again. So all the way up until really my sophomore year of college, the only video game system I even really owned were a GameCube and a PlayStation. I'm pretty sure I maybe still have the Xbox. I'm not sure. I feel like at that point it hit the red ring of death. So I want to say for sure PlayStation and GameCube, and I had Smash Brothers Melee, Luigi's Mansion, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, Deal or No Deal, the game. I'm trying to really think what games I had. Kingdom Hearts, probably, if I had to guess a game. That was probably it. I can't think of anything significantly more. Budokai, Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3 was probably my most played video game prior to meeting my wife. If I had to guess what my number one play was, Budokai 3, then Star Wars, Battlefront 2 was probably second most, and then Melee was probably my third most game played in my early years. And Madden definitely was up there as well. I used to always do the fantasy stuff on Madden, creating my own player. So Madden 12 was a big game, I remember. Those were probably my top 4 prior to meeting my wife. I did have Pokemon, but I fell out of Pokemon after Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald came out. So I never even heard of Diamond, Pearl, Black and White 2, X and Y, until I met my nephews. So that shows you how much I fell out of games. That should show you anything. So yeah, stopped around that generation. I remember beating Ruby and just being like, this is just too many Pokemon, I can't do it anymore. I caught all, I did the Pokedex stuff, and I just, I fell off of it. I hate it now, but at the time it seemed right, so. And that was before I knew about randomizers or anything like that. Computers I never touched other than, I think, Bejeweled, or what was it, PopCap Games, I think was the only computer stuff I ever did back in the day, or addictinggames.com, or Homestar Runner, I guess, were the only ones I ever remember typing in on my computer. If that tells anything. Who forgot she was here? No, I'm just kidding. No, I promise you, I knew she was there. Please no, I knew she was there this whole time. She just decided to talk about 30 minutes into this to let me know I've been talking about 30 minutes, and I should apologize for this being so long, but hopefully you guys knew it was going to be a longer bit of a journey. But at least we're in the college years now, so we're getting up there. Yeah, sophomore year, 2012, if you're looking at the year marks here. 2012 is when I met my wife. We met on a September night, technically, really was before that. So, long story short, I went to Terre Haute, like I said, for school. Would have been about, what would have been, August 2011? I'm trying to think my years here, right? August 2011 when I went to school there. Pretty much I did work for the ISU football team. I worked as their film crew and creating the playbooks, all that. Well, I did love what I did. I loved being this offensive assistant coach, but I prioritized that over my schooling, which was really, really bad. So I ended up not having a high enough GPA to stay in the school where I was. I don't remember exactly what I finished with, but it was really, really bad. Let's just say that. So always do your best in school. Please know it from me to do your best in school. But so after that year, I was looking for, more of a job. I was getting an apartment at the time, all that type of stuff to basically either figure out what I wanted to do with my life or whatever, and where I wanted to go. So at that time I was doing NFL Fan Freak, all that different stuff, which you could see on my original YouTube channel that I did for about 2 years, which was in a big NFL Fan Freak, where I did sports talk shows, whatever. Please know all that is obsolete now. Nothing on there is anything relevant other than maybe the sits downs where I talk about the life of a football player. Those might be the only thing, or the differences in different types of football, like arena football versus flag football. Those might be the only ones that have any relevance to today's world. Otherwise, all of them are going to be what mattered in football world in 2011, 2012. But yeah, I stopped Big NFL Freak about 2012. And that was my last, 2010, 2012 are the last times that I did YouTube anything somewhat seriously. 2012, I'd say, was a little bit more serious when I was creating show segments and different stuff to make it interesting. I did have fun making it, but like I said, I didn't care about what I was making. I just was trying things out. I couldn't figure out what my passions were. So, yeah. Hopefully this all makes sense. If you have questions on anything, please let me know down in the comments, and I will be happy to answer anything. We are fully transparent with anything. We can always do a Q&A, whatever you guys want. We're always open for. Speaking of that, I guess, I do apologize for lack of videos and stuff. We had internet go down here for a couple days due to whatever technical issues they're saying is going on. And then we are also waiting on my new computer to come in. Obviously, we tried to get a new computer, but it was not working for whatever reason to do Streamlabs. It would just crash. It wouldn't run anything prior to Gen 3, and Gen 4 and 5 would be kind of laggy. So I went ahead and chose to upgrade. Tried some different stuff on there for a while, but it just didn't feel the same as what I felt like my older computer was running the older stuff better. So I was like, well, at that point I already sold my old stuff, and all I really had was my phone, so I would be doing a lot of recordings to my phone. And obviously, as you know, some life hit our way, as do those that follow us on Twitter, different life circumstances, whether it be deaths, our own family, or me and my wife personally when we lost her, through miscarriages or whatever. But some bad life choices, whether it be through us or just outside circumstances that were thrown our way, and we ended up having to sell a lot of stuff we had, whatever kind of deals. But that kind of goes into more of the 2018-19 realm than where we kind of currently are. But it just felt like the right time to mention all this, so just to get it out of the way now. We are getting better. We're getting our feet under us a little more so, but we're still overall, yes, still struggling. We won't lie with that. And that's why there's still lack of content on stuff. And I do hate saying that I was going to be more consistent in August, knowing that it was going to be hard with all the stuff that we had. But I was like, oh, maybe I can find a way through different stuff. But really, I should know how, now knowing with what happened, how to better plan for when I should promise things, not promise things, whatever. So, and like I said, a lot of it was some life choices that we just couldn't help but happening or being thrown our ways with different hospital bills due to what happened to us. So, and then different job situations with myself that through moving and bad choices on parts. Like I said, if you have questions on this, I'll be happy to talk about it, but I just don't really want to talk about it too much in video format, because I don't want anybody thinking like, oh, I know I have, in a sense, asked for help, but my thing is I do love supporting others more so than myself, and no matter what anybody does for us, we're going to appreciate it, and we want to pay them back in any sort of way. So we never want to persuade that, like, oh, hey, you need to do this for us because, look where we've been. No, like, that's not the life, and I'm sorry if we've ever portrayed that in any way during our time here. We love supporting others. We love growing together. We love big or small YouTubers. I don't care what you are. We love just branching out with new people and having communities to talk with, and I hope that's portrayed in how we come out. But if not, then we severely apologize, and we'll make sure to do better with that. But yeah. Anyway, if you have questions, just DM us on Twitter, Instagram, or on YouTube itself, and we'll answer those in those sections. But video format, I'm just going to avoid that for now. Sorry. But anyway, back into the other stuff. So 2012 was when I met my wife, like I said. So let's see. So we were back in 2011 was when I was looking for a job. Right, that's where we left off. There we go. Before I went on my tangent, I was like, where did I leave off? So 2011 was when I was starting to look for a job after school and all that. Just I wasn't being dedicated enough and was just not probably right timing, whatever. So I started a job at Kroger as a cashier boy. That was actually technically my first job ever, was a Kroger cashier bag boy. When I was in high school, I would just work as, part-time, whatever, just get some extra cash, why not? So I was like, well, I have experience there, I'll just apply there for something for now and still look for something later on. Well, lo and behold, I worked there for a whole year. But so 2011, then 2012, April-ish, I stopped working at that Kroger to go pursue a job in Cedar Point, which is a amusement park, because I had a couple friends that worked there over the summer saying they got $20+ an hour and, great hours and blah, 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 all this great stuff about it. I had an ex-girlfriend at the time that I knew that had worked there, so I knew about the job. So I was like, you know what, let's go for it. Worst case, it's terrible and we just stop and find something more local. But I was like, right now I wasn't tied down to anything. Other than my family, that was the only thing I was going to be maybe missing out on. So went to Cedar Point for about 4 months. Ended up obviously stopping that job because it was only per seasonal and I didn't want to stay too far away from everything. Also, as a side note for anybody that works at an amusement park, it is frowned upon to give out the tickets that people leave to small children. Don't do that. I did that as a mistake on my first week. People would leave tickets that would come out like either the skee-ball machine or different machines, and people would just leave them. And I was like, I'd give them to like little girls or people that would walk through, just be like, oh, here you go, here's a couple of tickets, because I'm trying to be nice and, they're not going to use them. Lo and behold, those still cost money, and it's frowned upon to give that kind of, because they're like 10 cents a ticket each. So don't do that if you ever work in an amusement park. Don't give away the tickets. They will not like it. So, but either way, luckily after a while, I did get promoted to an arcade manager for the back arcade area. I would work 6 to 3 every day, pretty much, sometimes 6 to 1. It was an amazing job. Still to this day, hands down, easiest job I ever had. It would fix a few machines, play some free games of skee-ball, and then get off at 1 or 3 and go enjoy the beach, ride the rides. I got free admission, so, it was an amazing job. But if it wasn't for the fact that it was a state away, I probably would have tried to keep going for it. But as we'll dive into here shortly, it just never worked out again, and I was just like, at least I have that experience. So what would have been August 2012, I was going back to school and everything like that, starting going to Ivy Tech, actually doing some summer courses and late what would that be, fall winter courses that I did as well that helped to get my GPA back up. So I finished Ivy Tech with I think like a 3.4 or something like that GPA my fall year, but it was not high enough to get back in, so I had to do summer courses as well, which I got like a 3.7 or something like that, and got accepted back to ISU 2012 fall semester. So this is where we'll dive into meeting my wife. So I went back to Kroger that fall season, or whatever you want to say, in August. Went back to Kroger that I worked at. My wife was actually working as the front end customer service person, and she and I at the time was a bagger cashier, like I said. She came up to me one day. This is always the story how we talk about for sure when we knew for sure we met. We'd worked together before, but we didn't know if we knew each other, if that makes sense, before this incident. But this is for sure the one we both remember. She came up to me and asked me if I would go clean the bathrooms. Now, mind you, baggers, their chore list, every hour a different bagger needs to go and clean the bathroom. So I thought nothing of it. However, with my cashier experience and 3 at that time, well, it would have been 2.5 total years of Kroger experience, I was technically not supposed to do that type of stuff. It's supposed to be for the bottom of the totem pole. But for what she knew, I would have only been there for a few months. So, lo and behold, I cleaned bathrooms. I come back out and she apologized for sending me to the bathrooms, and still to this day can't, like, we joke about how she sent me to the bathrooms, although I was a experienced employee at the time, or whatever. Later that year, some point before September, we worked together. I know it was for a race day. I think one of the races that was coming up, either Daytona or Brickyard, I don't know, whenever late August range would have been. We were doing Cheerios cereal stock, and we worked together with that, doing the stock for the cereal. And that's when we had more deep conversation. I was like, well, you know, I kind of like this girl, you know, seemed like we can get along. She seems kind of fun and crazy. I knew some of her friends, and they were very wild and fun and seemed spontaneous like myself. So on September, I would have been somewhere about the 20th range, September something. I sent her a note down aisle 2, asking her to give me a call some point, because remember, I'm introverted. I didn't like physical conversation, so I gave her a note. Yes, just saying to give me a call some point. And a couple days later, she called me. And September 26th, we consider our first date. We'll talk about that here in a second. But September 26th, we had our first date. We went to see the movie Fight Club, which we both agreed to this point was very confusing and probably not the best choice for the first movie to watch together. But literally our thoughts were, watching that movie, we were trying to both find a movie that neither of us had seen, but where we could kind of enjoy each other and just talk to each other. But we ended up trying to figure out this movie, and we couldn't figure it out 100%, and so we were like, okay, that was the bad choice. So later that week, for whatever reason, she chose to do it on day 2. We decided to watch the movie Babe, which we both had seen, and we're like, that way we can focus on each other. So I created like a 20 questions thing, and I asked her different questions. I gave her a 20 question thing so she could get to know me. We got to know one another. And then October 8th came around, October 8th and October 9th, one or the other, came around. We decided to be boyfriend-girlfriend of 2012. Then late November, December range, we finally said I love yous. We went to like the zoo and different dates like that. Dated for a good couple years. December of 2014, we got engaged. I actually engaged her on Christmas Eve after getting permission from her grandpa and stuff like that, because he had like a retirement party, and it was like create a bucket list for things for him to do. So I put in his bucket list to let me be able to marry his granddaughter, because she was super close with her grandpa. So, and obviously I asked the dad, the brother, all the other significant guy adults, and they all said yes. So I asked her, I told her I had a bracelet because that's what she wanted for Christmas, was a bracelet, I think, or something like that. So I told her I had a bracelet for Christmas to close her eyes, and then I did not give her a bracelet. I didn't give her a bracelet for another couple of years, I think, sadly. So it was the bad boyfriend moment, but husband moment, whatever you want to call me at that point. But gave her the ring, obviously, which she still has to this day, and we got engaged, got married in September 26th of 2015. So we're almost at 4 years of marriage right now, which is kind of crazy thinking it's been that long, but also it's been, 7 years of total relationship that we've been together. And then, I'm just trying to think this all out, sorry. August 2016 is when we had my daughter, so we knew we were pregnant November of 2015, would that be right? Yeah. November-ish range. I know for sure Thanksgiving time, because, I know for sure it was before New Year's. I know that for a fact, because we were keeping it secret from people for a little bit because of different factors of people that we knew in our families that had incidences happen that also happened to us later on, which we kind of talked about already. So we were waiting a month or so before we announced we were pregnant. So our parents were the first to know. They knew December range. And then we told her family January 1st, because since she couldn't drink for New Year's, she came out and told them that they were pregnant. And then we had somewhere those couple months when we had the true test to see her for the first time. We were not ever finding out the gender. We did not know what she was until literally she came out. We didn't have any gender reveal party or anything like that, but we did have baby showers, whatever, so we just made everything gender neutral. It was fun. It was great to have a surprise of her. We were both hoping for girl. I know my original story said I had a boy, but whatever. No, I was definitely hoping for girl. She was definitely hoping for girl, being the last girl in her family, being now, she's up her 30s and she's still one of the last girls. There's been a few more luckily now through her sisters and stuff like that, or her brother and stuff like that, but still, the girls are thinner on her side. And then, yeah, so we had her August 16th of 2016, and she just recently turned 2 about a couple weeks ago, and it was amazing. We went to see her brother get married a couple weeks ago. Been enjoying life. Yes, we've had our marriage bumbles. We've had close calls on different stuff, but we never have truly broken up or anything like that. We both still to this day seek a little bit of counseling, not marriage counseling, but just kind of overall counseling to try to better our life and make everything the best that we can for each other and our daughter and overall as a family. So that has been something we started this month. We also joined a couple small groups through the church we go to, which if you saw our last vlog, you got to see a bit of our church that we go to. What I love about that church is it's not too much on the Bible side and whatever, as though I am a God believer. I do believe in a lot of the science-y, evolution type stuff. This church is welcoming to all, does not force you to believe in religion, mostly just trying to relate how to get along, how to get it through life as a human being and the different stuff that can happen and how to overcome different circumstances, different tasks that might be thrown your way. It's just amazing. And yes, they do still tie it to the Bible in a sense, but it all makes sense and it just feels welcoming there. And then with this small group we have through the church, we are with these other couples, and it helps us feel not so alone in what we're going through, that we're not the only ones going through tough times, different bad circumstances that happened, and it's just been an overall great process. So even if you're not big on spiritual stuff, which I always will tell people, my brother was an atheist, and I know people that are agnostic and whatever. I'm welcoming to all. I don't care who you are, what you are, as long as you're not being disrespectful to other people. I'm going to have your back no matter what. I'm a pretty understanding person with anything. I'm never one to try to force anything on anyone, but I just want to letting people know what we go through life and how we try to make ourselves happy. And we're still not the best with everything, and so clearly there might be better ways. I don't know, but either way, that's pretty much our journey in total. Nowadays, I don't write music as much anymore. I still do YouTube life, as you're seeing right now. I'm making a YouTube video for you. You should really know I'm doing somewhat of YouTube life, but with a lot of life happenings, with working full-time jobs, family matters, whatever technology you want to call it, whether it be internet, technology's not agreeing with us. We have a lot of hiccups through life, and we're really trying our best to give the best content. I do like this YouTube thing as a passion. I do love doing it. Whether it becomes something, I don't know. That we will see, but we've said this since day one. We'll continue saying it. Whether we have nobody watching or millions of subscribers one day, we just love what we do. We're hoping to give someone a smile, a good laugh, a good time, and have fun, and maybe see something new and learn together and help one another become stronger together. I don't know. That's just like what we feel like we're trying to do as a channel. And I know maybe at sometimes the younger people of our channel don't really know how to best portray that image, and I will apologize for that, but they're kids, so we've all been there as teenagers, not knowing what's really best to say or whatever. And I'm still not the greatest at knowing what to say. I am literally spewing off a non-scripted anything right now, wearing a Batman Superman shirt because I don't know why. I just felt like it was a cool shirt to wear today. I think she's wearing Elmo. She was wearing Wonder Woman, so we were DC themed for a little bit, but right now she's wearing Elmo. She loves Elmo. She likes her Sesame Street and Bubble Guppies and whatever other educational shows we'll watch. She's still talking up there. In case you wanted to see her. I always like making her having a fun appearance on the camera. But yeah, no, our goal this week, once we get all the internet stuff settled, seeing that the computer came in today, we'll get Kingdom Hearts finished up. Whether I have to do it mobile, hotspotted, I don't care. We're gonna get that finished up. And then get Platinum starting up here. Get this new series that I have already pre-recorded ready and going, just to have something going while I'm trying to get ready for the next series. Me and my wife are gonna actually start up our new series this week, hopefully next week, maybe at the worst. We have decided, because we've been talking about doing a Pokemon series for a while, doing Black and White, obviously. We talked about this since that was the only Pokemon game neither one of us have played, and playing that, you know, co-oply and having fun with it so she could experience her Pokemon game. I can experience that generation for the first time, and we can enjoy it together and figure it out together. Well, she doesn't want the image of her being a bad gamer, so she came up with the idea, why don't we do a Mario game together first, so people can see her skill as a gamer, seeing she's amazing at Mario. She's God tier in Mario to me, playing through either Mario 3D World or some other Mario game. She's good in other ones, but that's the one we kind of both mutually agree on, is Mario World. And doing the Wheel of Challenges, seeing we both have beaten that game multiple times, and we'll do the Wheel of Challenges with it. That way we can show how we overcome things, and then we'll do the Pokemon series together. That way there's not two non-randomized Pokemon playthroughs going up at the same point too. Other stuff to kind of come. I don't know why I didn't realize this earlier, but Pokemon Quest is on mobile. So I was able to transfer a lot of what I had on my Switch, hopefully, to my mobile, to where I can play Pokemon Quest on my mobile device and catch up that series and finish it up and get that, knowing that I try to figure a way to do it. Worst case is I have to start fresh, and we'll debate on that later. But some other series that'll be coming up is Kingdom Hearts 3. We might do that as something as well. We're trying to plan our next sleep block, which could be Kingdom Hearts, could be Pokemon. We're not sure. We just got to figure out a lot of the streaming issues, get things knowing that they work before we schedule bigger plans. So once we know our streaming stuff works, we're going to try to get Leaf Green going, which was the next promised Pokemon series, which will be just a randomizer, because we've never done a live randomizer on the channel. And then after the co-op with Black and White, that's when the not master modes, but the Wheel of Challenges will hit. Pokemon World, I don't know, just anything and everything can be still coming to this channel. We're gonna have fun with it, have a good time. Whatever we can kind of find to do, we'll do it, and we'll have fun. If you guys ever have suggestions or want to see anything, leave us down in the comments. We read every single one. We respect anything negative or positive. We want to give everyone the best experience that they can, and like I said, hopefully you guys always have a good time, a good laugh, or whatever. But I've been going for about 53 minutes here. Geez, Mitchell. But hopefully you guys did enjoy. Please leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you are new. It means a lot. We're on the way to 300 subs right now. I know a lot's going to be slow this month, but it's coming September. We'll get everything kind of back on track and going forward. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart so much for being here and still subscribe to us and sticking through with it, through all the different hiccups that have been thrown our way, whether it be our own hiccups that we caused badly or true hiccups that were life that we just had thrown our way. But I thank every single one of you. Thank you for sticking through it. Be sure to follow us on social medias for any and all updates. Those are always down in the description as well. And that's pretty much all I got. You got anything down there, girl? She said there's a kitty. Okay, everybody got to find the kitty. I don't see the kitty. Anybody see the kitty? We're like really close to our house too. Our house is down that way a bit. I don't see a kitty. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. The Modern Gamer signing out. Ka-ka!